It's starting to feel very autumnal here now in the Scottish Highlands, which I couldn't be happier about because it is my all-time favourite season. I just love getting all cosy. I love having an excuse to stay inside and read a book, but also to come outside and see all the beautiful colours of autumn. So I thought I would start preparing for this season with you and take you along with a few things I like to do. So I'd like to do a bit of planning, looking ahead to my autumn. I like to get a reading list sorted, so I'll share you the kind of books I want to be reading this autumn, and I also want to change over my wardrobe to get all my cosy knits out again. But yeah, it's an absolutely proper autumn morning today. It's a little bit cooler, it's a little bit rainy, and it's just perfect. As many of you know, I do all of my planning in Notion, so I just wanted to take a little bit of time this morning to do some planning for the autumn. So I'll be doing that in my slow living planner, which is something I actually do sell on my Etsy store as well. So specifically, I want to be looking at my monthly planner, so I want to be looking at September, planning in some intentions for that month, reviewing August, anything I've learnt from that month, setting my word for the month, which is something that I really enjoy doing. And then I also want to be looking in on my morning and my evening routines and see if I want to change anything for the autumn, because obviously we have less light, we're going to be going into a darker period, so it might mean that I want to change things up. And I also really want to change up my vision board because that's really fun, and autumn is just so aesthetic. I really want my vision board to show that, and there's something I can look at all the time to feel inspired. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing this morning, and I'll take you guys along with me. So what I've decided to do is I want to go through my clothing and get it ready for the colder months. So I try and do this at least twice a year, if not for every season. And I pulled these are pretty much all my clothes. I have bits in the wash, my coats, shoes and underwear. My shoes I think are pretty much the same. I'm just going to swap out probably a pair of trainers that are quite light for a pair of boots, but this is the bulk of my clothing. So first thing I want to do is I want to go through it to see if there's anything I need to declutter, and then I want to swap things around. For someone that keeps a more minimal wardrobe, I do have a substantial amount of jumpers. I can't even lift them all. These are the thicker knits that I've had put away in storage. I say in storage, they've still been in my wardrobe but in a Ziploc bag, and then I've had these out, so these are my lighter weight sweaters and stuff that I tend to wear through the spring summer, especially these, which are actually my merchandise. I get these from Tmail. I'll leave a link down below if you're interested in them, but they're perfect because they're just warm enough. But I actually end up keeping it all out because I do have to layer quite a lot. I do live in the Scottish Highlands, it is cold, so my wardrobe suddenly feels a lot bigger at this time of year, but I just know I wear them all. I mean, I'm looking at one of these sweaters and I'm thinking I might declutter it, but I thought I'd show you a couple of new jumpers that I've actually picked up this year. So this is the first one. It's very wrinkled because it's been put away, but this is just a brown sort of medium weight knit, and it's I think 100% wool, and I got it in a charity shop, which was a pretty good find I thought. And I wanted another brown, if you heard that, that's Sky coughing next to you, sorry. Brown jumper and like a medium weight one, so this one caught my eye, and yeah, it's really nice and cozy. And then this is probably my favourite one I got, so this is chunky, like cable knit jumper here with like a half turtleneck. It's so ridiculously cozy. Again, I got it second hand. I got it on Vinted. I think it's from, yeah, it's from Fat Face originally, but it looks absolutely brand new. And since I got a oh my god, what do you call it? I call it a debaurbler. I don't even know if that's the word, but something to like, an electric thing to like remove baubles. My knitwear lasts a lot longer, so I would recommend having something like that, because yeah, I do, otherwise it tends to like get all baubled quite quickly. So yeah, I'm excited to wear these two knits, and autumn winter is my favourite seasons to dress for. So anyway, I thought I would show you those, and I need to stop procrastinating and actually get this clothing organised. So I've got my autumn winter clothing separated out now, so just got my basics. There's Pie. Maybe she's like, why can't I go on the sofa? You filled it with your clothes. Good girl. So yeah, just got t-shirts and stuff that just obviously be staying out. Got my leggings, and this is actually a pair of linen trousers from Grey Cove that are quite lightweight, so I might end up putting them away when it gets much colder, but I think they'll be right for autumn, and they're nice colour for autumn as well. Keeping all my heavy knits. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll wear them all through the autumn winter, and then see if there's any I wanted to clutter at the end. And then I'm keeping most of my sweaters out. No, darling, you can't go up right now, go on your bed. So I've got like this just sort of outdoorsy fleece, and then some more of my merch, and like a grey sweater there. And then I'm look at this, keeping most of my hanging stuff out. So the only things I'm putting away, I put away less in the warmer months. I put down here. So I've got these two pairs of shorts that I'm actually gutted that I'm going to not be able to wear anymore. It's going to be too cold, because I got these from Organic Basics. One was kindly gifted, and then I had to get another pair because I absolutely lived in them this summer. They're my most comfortable piece of clothing, and they're really they're called their soft touch shorts. I'll link them below. And they're absolutely gorgeous and so comfortable. What I'm going to do, because it's only just getting into autumn, I'll put them in like a linen bag that's easily accessible before I put them away properly, because you know we are just in transitioning at the moment. And then I think I'm going to put away one sweater, and this is some of my merch, just because I've got a lot of layers out now, and this is a slightly thicker one, and I think I'd probably more likely reach for knitwear. And then I just got one pair of very I'm not going to be able to see these, but they're basically just a very lightweight pair of dungarees from Passenger, and a lightweight jumpsuit from Sea Salt that I'm not going to wear when it gets colder. And then my denim jacket's going away. I'm considering decluttering that, because I've only worn it a handful of times this summer, but I think I'll give it another season because it is a useful thing to have in your wardrobe. And then I'm only decluttering two things. I'm just decluttering this one sweater from Finisterre. I don't know, I just don't reach for it as much, basically. I actually got it secondhand to start with, and it's still in great nick, so I'll probably try and sell it. But I think it's maybe just an awkward weight. It's a bit heavier than my other sweaters, but then not heavy enough for the warmer months. And then I'm just getting rid. I've had these leggings forever. That is an old athletic pair of leggings, and they're getting quite loose now and not quite fitting right, so I'm going to get rid of those as well. But yeah, I'm excited now. Sorry for the clip clopping around in that scene. That was probably Sky. But I am excited to get all cozy this autumn. I'm really excited to start my autumn reading. I'm just finishing up some of my summer reads now, and as I mentioned before, I do like to try and read seasonally, and I want to update my reading planner actually. I also sell a Notion planner for reading, which I use myself. You can get that on my Etsy store, which I'll drop a link in below. But I do like to read through the seasons, and there's definitely room, I think, on my autumn list to add a few more in there. So if you have any recommendations, do let me know. But I thought I would share with you what I've got at present, and I like to have a mix of contemporary fiction and classics as well. So the first couple actually aren't autumn reads, there's just a couple I'm reading or about to read for my last summer reads. So I'm reading this right now. I wouldn't say this is particularly seasonal, you can read this at any time, but it's The Love of My Life by Rosie Walsh. So Rosie Walsh also wrote The Man Who Didn't Call, which I read a couple of years ago now, and it actually made it on my top 10 favourite books of all time, which I never expected when I picked it up, and I still can't quite put my finger on why. I wrote a blog post on my book, so I'll link that below if you've not read that. But there's something about how she writes. It's almost, I would say she probably is a mix between Jenny Colgan and Colleen Hoover. So she's got the kind of like really endearing characterization and love stories and stuff that Jenny Colgan does, but then she's also got a bit more of a harder edge, a bit thrillery. She's really good at twists, and yeah, I've already almost finished this. I'll finish this today, but I just really enjoyed it, so I thought I would mention that. And then I'm trying to squeeze this in as well this August, because it is set in August. So I picked this up from the charity shop the other day, mostly because the cover is beautiful and it caught my eye. So The Animals at Lockwood Manor, it says some secrets unspoken, others unspeakable, and essentially it's set in August 1939, so back in the war, and it's about some of the exhibits between London museums are moved into a country house to keep them safe. But actually, and then this woman, Hetty's put in charge of them, but apparently this Lockwood Manor where she's put is got lots of mystery about it, and actually she thinks that London would have been safer for her. So I think it's going to be really, it is set in the summer, but it's sort of got that kind of mystery vibe that is very autumnal. So I'm excited to read that. And then next one I've had this for a while, I've not yet read it. But I picked this up in the spring and thought this is a little bit more of a late summer, early autumn one. It doesn't actually say when it's set, but I feel like it could be, September is a pretty good month for it. And it's basically Harrington family, they discover an abandoned baby deep in the woods, and it's about that and where the baby comes from. And again, it's not a mystery kind of book. I've kind of seen this everywhere. If you've read this, let me know. But I keep seeing it online and in charity shops and in the library and stuff, so I'm excited to get stuck on in with this. And then speaking of Colleen Hoover, I've got one of her, I think, newer books that was lent to me. So yeah, it's Too Late, and again it's another thriller-esque type book, thriller romance. That's kind of what all her books are about, and I just felt it was a bit dark looking, so this is probably going to be great for this autumn. And then the book I'm probably most excited to read about this autumn is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This isn't a classic, but I think it's been called a modern classic. I know it's about some students that go to university and they're in a group and they're kind of got a bit of privilege, and then I think someone dies or something happens and they have to kind of cover it up. And again, it's probably the most autumnal book you can read in a way. It's very dark academia vibes, so I'm really excited to read this one. And then the last two I've got are classics that I will be rereading. So Picture of Dorian Gray is the first one. I picked this copy up recently because I haven't actually owned it for years. I read it first time when I was a teenager, so I want to reread that. It's just perfect for this time of year. And then I'm going to be rereading my copy of Wuthering Heights. So I always say this is my all-time favourite book, but I probably haven't read it for maybe even 10 years now. I probably last read it when I was about 20, so I'm excited to see how I feel about it now, because I do think book preferences change over time, but to be honest, I think I'm always going to love it. And again, it's one of the most perfect books to read in the autumn. So yeah, I'm really excited about my autumn reading. Like I said, put any of your recommendations below. I'll leave a link to that reading planner as well on my Etsy store if you want to check that out. But I think that's all I want to share with you guys today. So I hope you are as excited as me about autumn coming, and share some of the favourite things you are most looking forward to in autumn. I'd love to read them, and I will see you guys next time.